Jumanji: The Next Level stars Dwayne Johnson, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Awkwafina, Nick Jonas, Danny DeVito, Danny Glover, and it is the third entry in the Jumanji series, technically fourth if you count Zathura from 2005, which I do. And Jumanji: Next Level picks up where Welcome to the Jungle left off, as unknown to his friends, Spencer keeps the pieces of the Jumanji video game, and one day he tries to repair the system in the basement of his grandfather's house while he and his friends Fridge, Bethany, and Martha are on a holiday break for the college season this time around. When Spencer goes back into the fantastical world Jumanji, his pals Martha Capley, Anthony Fridge Johnson, and Bethany Walker re-enter the games to try and bring him home. But there's only one little glitch in the game this time around. The Jumanji game is now broken and is fighting back. And everything the friends knows about Jumanji is about to change, as they soon discover that there's more obstacles and there's more danger to overcome. So Spencer's grandfather Eddie and his friend Milo hears the commotion, and they also too get sucked into the video game as well, and his teenage friends must help Eddie and Milo get used to their in-game avatars, get them to help find Spencer, escape Jumanji once again and for all, and get back home safe while doing that. Going in now, when it comes to Jumanji Next Level, I was very surprised by the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, which came out 2 years before this, and I was like everyone else. I was like, why are you doing another Jumanji? It's too little, too late. But then little did I know, I watched the movie for myself, and it's actually ended up being my biggest surprise of 2017. It was also one of my favorites of 2017. I really liked the story. I thought I really thought the comedy and the acting was really strong. It did have a problem in terms of the villain, but I loved the movie a lot. And the whole style of the Jumanji films, for me, is fun and is entertaining. And not to mention, I like Zathura and I really like the Robin Williams one. But the first Jumanji was a great film filled with a lot of heart and soul and exciting and fun adventure. And that's why it stood out to me. When it comes to Jumanji Next Level, I was curious, but I was a little hesitant when I watched the trailers, because the idea of swapping the characters out and having the two new additions playing the old avatars from the first movie, it kind of seemed like a weird choice. And I was like, okay, it still looks good, but you're just changing out two of the big stars in film. But so I watched the movie last week, and I will say Jumanji Next Level is another entertaining surprise, and it's another fun film. It is the second weakest in terms of this Jumanji franchise. The fourth weakest would be Zathura. But Jumanji Next Level definitely still has the heart and the entertaining soul of the Welcome to the Jungle. Now, just like the last movie, this movie is hilarious and it's still very funny. I have a lot of fun times laughing throughout the course of the movie, and I was bored. It wasn't too much of a distraction. And the cast once again brings their A game. The Rock, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, they all once again play as their respectable video game characters. And the comedic jokes, all the jokes in this movie nearly landed, except for a few that I kind of questioned, but the humor was still very much funny. And you could tell the Kasdan and the writers, did a good job at making sure they kept that spirit from Welcome to the Jungle. Now, The Rock was also really funny. The Rock has been in a lot of stuff in this decade, and this is no exception. The Rock is a great actor, and he was one of my favorite parts in Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. Even though I do like that movie, but this movie does have one thing going for it that's positive. This is a little shorter than Hobbs and Shaw, because Hobbs and Shaw is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and it did drag out for at least 35 minutes. This is 2 hours and 3 minutes, and it's basically fast-paced fun. But I will say The Rock and Kevin Hart, they do a great job as their characters once again. This time they do have to act like Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, and it was a little off-putting at times where I don't know what they were doing it, who is who, but they both pull it off. And there is, with Kevin Hart, he's like I said, he's a funny actor. He's a hit and miss sometimes, but when you give him the right material, Kevin Hart does a really good job, and he does a good job again as his little video game avatar. There is one moment where he does go into his usual Kevin Hart form, but overall, it seems like he's taking the part where he has to play Danny Glover a lot seriously. And I will say that Karen Gillan as Ruby Roundhouse, once again, she didn't have much to do in the last movie, but here she has a lot more going for her. She is a very funny character. She always does a lot of crazy stuff, adventurous stuff, and she's also a pretty strong female character that doesn't have to pander to the lowest common denominator. And Karen Gillan, her chemistry with the cast is amazing, and she's a great actress, and she's had a really great year as far as movies go. She was great in All Creatures Here Below. She really shined in Avengers Endgame. But this movie, she also really does a great job as well as Ruby Roundhouse. Jack Black also does a great job as the character of Shelly. He's pretty funny, and there was a rumor going around that this would be his last movie, but he has came out and said that is not the case. So the cast is very strong as well. You also have some newcomers to the cast as well. Yes, Nick Jonas does come back, and I will say he is a lot better here than he was in the last movie. And I do like the returning kids in the movie. Alex Wolff and Spencer Giplin, Madison Eastman is Bethany Walker, Nick and the other two, Sabaris DeBlane is Fridge, and the girl who plays Martha, Morgan Turner. They all do a great job at their part, in their parts as the kids. And as far as Danny DeVito and Danny Glover goes, they also do a really great job, and I enjoyed Awkwafina a lot as in her role. Awkwafina has had a good year. I've heard Farewell's good, but I haven't really seen that movie yet. And as far as the direction and the writing goes, I will say the directing is very well done. I will say the writing definitely has its moments where it is hard to make out who is who when it comes to Rock and Kevin Hart, and some of the jokes doesn't really land, but it's alright. And also, the stakes, they're not as high as they were in Welcome to the Jungle, where each character had 3 lives before you're dead. Because this is a video game movie, I will say that is a lot. It is a lot of it is a bit anxious where it is a bit jarring where you figure out or some characters are going to make it out alive in most of the situations that they go in. And there's a lot of chaos and a lot of craziness in this video game world, Jumanji. And even though I do like the first two Jumanji movies more and the lore more, the action is still great. It is in camera, it's fun to watch, there's a lot of effects. You can see what's going on for the time in this Jumanji world. I do have two little issues here with this movie, and that is the editing can be a little bit jarring, and it can be a little off-putting at times. It's one time you're in the video game world, one time you're in the real world, and it goes back and forth, and it kind of feels like you're going like you're on LSD from Doctor Strange or something like that. Also, there are some moments where most of the jokes doesn't really land, and just like the last movie, just like with Aladdin 2019, you have a serious villain problem here. In the case of Jurgen the Brutal, he's a very generic villain who just stroked a mustache, act evil. You don't really get much development out of him, or if you would give him this backstory, then I could say this is a cool villain. But despite those two gripes, Jumanji: The Next Level still shows that they had the touch that Welcome to the Jungle, even the first movie does, and I do like the little homage that they try to get in. At the end of the movie, it felt very heartfelt. So Welcome to the Jungle still has a lot of fun, entertaining, still have great performances, and you do have a great heart. I am interested in seeing one more Jumanji movie with The Rock and Kevin Hart and Karen Gillan and Jack Black. I am interested in seeing at least one more of these. But we'll have to see what happens, because so far this movie's doing good. So if they do make one more Jumanji film with these four actors, I'd be down for it, as long as the director returns. But with that being said, Jumanji: The Next Level is a fun time, and I will give Jumanji: The Next Level an Epictastic on my rating system. So that was my thoughts on Jumanji: The Next Level. What did you think of Jumanji: The Next Level? In the comments down below. Let's have a friendly, divisive, debatable conversation. Stick around for more videos, for the massive 2019 catch-up video, as well as my reviews for Cats, Richard Jewell, Little Women, and also this weekend, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I can't wait to talk about that. And get ready for my annual last of my year-end lists in terms of most surprising, most disappointing, yada yada yada. And I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys keep it cool, enjoy the Epictasticness.